Refrigerators with the freezer on the bottom have been around since about 1947 when Amana released the first ever. Today, having one of those is a wildly popular feature due to ergonomics, but due to economics, they tend to be very expensive, well, usually. This is a HiSense HRB171N6, and it's one of the cheapest on the market that you're going to find. Although it retails for $1,100 in the US, you can commonly see them on sale between $800 and $900, and they come in different colors like black, white, and stainless steel. This makes it a very affordable choice when your rivals tend to be top mount refrigerators or low end side-by-side refrigerators for roughly the same price. But does cheap mean that this unit is cheaply built? Well, maybe not. Is this HiSense refrigerator a must-buy, or is the fact that it was manufactured in China make it, well, trust shy? Let's tear this apart and see if the HiSense makes any sense today. A few of the defining features on this refrigerator is that it's 17.1 cubic foot in size. We have this one in my store. It's 26.6 inches deep, 32 inches wide, and 69 inches tall. Putting this unit on the smaller size of bottom mount refrigerator freezers, HiSense does not offer a deeper model like this in a single door up top configuration. The HRB266, it's a French door configuration, so there's two doors up top, and that's 26.6 cubic feet of capacity and is full size, which is a little bit more expensive and again, a lot larger in capacity. Now, from what I've seen on these models, they're almost nearly exclusive at Lowe's for your big box stores. I don't think Home Depot or Best Buy sell them. We got this one as a customer return, I think from Lowe's, and that's why we have it, and I'm excited to test it. This video is not sponsored by Lowe's or HiSense or anybody. We just happen to have one of these, and I was really excited to try it on the channel. And if you use the links to purchase this from the description, from the YouTube carousel, it does help me make more videos where I don't have to have a sponsor pay for any of the refrigerator reviews, which helps me be as unbiased as I can theoretically. Now, although this unit's not equipped with any sort of ice maker, it does have an option for an extra $50 to $75 at the stores that will include one in the freezer, not the refrigerator, which if you've ever watched anything on this channel, you know that having an ice maker in the freezer is way, way better than putting it up top. Although I don't know if I've ever seen a refrigerator that has just this one door to the side that has indoor ice and water. If you know of any fridges that do have that feature, let me know in the comments. It tends to always be in the French door, double door configuration. Now, on this specific one, a lot of the cheaper low-end units or more basic older ones tend to have a swinging door like what you see up top. But no, this one is just your standard pull-out drawer. And you pull it out in the middle, and you got two shelves in it, and it's pretty much identical to any other sort of higher end bottom freezer refrigerator that you're going to have. We had some of these bottles of water in here for testing the temperatures in the past few days, and everything seems to work, but the ergonomics on this bottom drawer are really, really good. And then speaking of doors, we do have this one door up top that I want to show you. One of the big criticisms that people have on this kind is if it's reversible or not. And this one's really, really simplistic in terms of changing it from a left side opening to a right side opening. There's just hardware up at the very top, and it's very easy to swap this out. Now, some other things on this fridge, once you start looking inside, is it's real basic. It's real basic. Although it has computers in it, it does have a UI up here that will allow you to have some basic controls on it, such as your zone, your temperature, whether it's Fahrenheit or Celsius, and then you have 3 modes over here, which are your super cool, energy saving, and super freezer modes. And it does also feature a forced defrost mode that you can call to command, as well as basic error code tracking. There's about 10 or 12 codes that this machine could spit out if it has some sort of critical failure, which is good because then you're not left in the dark if there is a problem. When it comes to the shelves in this, the layout is real basic. You have 1, 2, 3 shelves up top, and then you have your chef's pantry at the bottom. A lot of units like this will have 2 crisper drawers. It only has that one chef's pantry, but it is a big chef's pantry. Does that mean it's a big chef from a South Park? Or if you were in the 90s, it would have been Paul Prudhomme? I don't know. Also, another thing to note about these shelves is that it's very similar to a top freezer fridge. They go over from left to right. In order to take these out and move them, you just simply take them out and then you can rearrange them. If you look at the inside of the casing, there are some adjustments that you can make to these shelves. It's not fully adjustable to where you have maybe 20 or 30 different settings, but there are about 12 different notches in here that you can use to adjust your shelves, which mean that you can customize this a little bit to fit different things in it. At the top, we have water bottles. They wouldn't fit in the other shelves, but again, you can adjust that a little bit. But with the basics of this refrigerator out of the way, why do this review? Who is HiSense and why would I care to buy anything from them? HiSense is a rather new appliance company. They got officially founded in 1994. They ended up becoming China's largest producer of televisions very quickly. They were originally a radio factory that was established in 1969 in China. But what's really interesting and makes this an appliance video is the name Whirlpool. Whirlpool and HiSense have been partners in China since 2008 for producing washing machines and refrigerators. HiSense bought a refrigerator factory 10 years before the deal that Whirlpool had in 2008. Whirlpool was going to buy a factory in China. It fell through. HiSense bought the factory and they've been producing refrigerators ever since. Now, this isn't to say that this refrigerator is a HiSense badged Whirlpool or vice versa, like say an Amana refrigerator is really a Whirlpool by a different name. Whirlpool refrigerators, though, I have a question on the Chinese built models in the US that you see like the quad door unit. That Whirlpool quad door unit that retails for about $2,000, I think has the same UI as this one does, although it's integrated in the door, and the shelves look wildly similar, which makes me question if that Whirlpool is actually made in the same factory this much cheaper HiSense is. And beyond that, what makes this refrigerator worth reviewing? And the answer is simple. It's simplicity. This is one of the most basic refrigerators that you can buy in the United States. And if you've ever watched my channel, you know that simplistic features matter a lot to me. The fewer the parts there are on a refrigerator means there's a less to go wrong on the unit. Heck, the entire wiring diagram in this entire refrigerator is just pasted on the back on a little sheet of paper. And if you compare that schematic to something like, say, a high-end KitchenAid, you know there are a lot less problems that this refrigerator can have than compared to a lot of others on the market, and that's something I like. A critical feature that is on this unit specifically is that it is a single evaporator system. That means all your cold air is produced in the bottom freezer part of the refrigerator, and it uses a high volume fan to blow the cold air up into the refrigerator cabinet. That means that there's less parts that could get frozen or damaged. The damping system is just a one-piece simplistic damper that's put and hidden behind the evaporator that's really easy to get to. Technicians are starting to really like these HiSense refrigerators. I've already showed you the schematics on the back of the unit, which are again the size of a small envelope, but the rest of the system is really easy to get into, to diagnose, to fix, and again, there's so much less to go wrong in the refrigerator. In the freezer, when I took it apart off screen, you simply have a fan, some sensors, and a defrost heater. That's it. Getting to these systems was insanely easy because the entire bottom of the unit comes apart with just 2 screws, and then there are 3 on the evaporator panel in the back. It's literally the easiest system I've ever dealt with on the channel. Although it does feature this UI at the very top of it, it's really simplistic, and then it does have a control board on the back. It is not driving any sort of inverter motor, which means the compressor basically turns on and turns off. The control board, again, is so simple that if it ever fails, it's $60 to replace. And the compressor system, the entire sealed system on the back, uses your basic overload and relay system. So if that goes bad, it's a cheap fix as well. The replacement parts are way cheaper than what you would find on, say, a Whirlpool or GE, where the unit may be cheap to buy but expensive to fix. Again, this unit doesn't have an inverter motor on the back of it, which means that it is not very sophisticated. Now, there are 2 downsides with it not having an inverter motor. One, it's going to be a little bit loud when it runs, although when we tested that on camera, it ran at simply 43 decibels on our sound meter on our phone, which I thought was pretty good. The other side of it is that since it's a single speed motor, according to EnergyStar.gov, this unit uses about 453 kilowatt hours a year on electricity. By comparison, if you had an LG with an inverter motor, it's going to use about the same amount of electricity, but be about 27 cubic feet of capacity in the LRDC 2603C. So again, not very efficient, but it's really cheap to fix, which I think is worth considering. There is one major downside or one major area of concern, and that is temperature uniformity. Once we loaded the refrigerator with drinks and different pops, we saw a different temperature gradient between the top and the bottom. That led me to tear the entire evaporator panel out of the unit for inspection, and all the circulation of air in the unit is driven by essentially the one fan and the freezer, which I think is a problem or a potential failure point on this unit. Not that the fan's bad, it's a good fan, but I really think that they should have added an additional mixing fan in the evaporator panel. But having said all this, the temperatures were such a big concern to me that we decided to do a much deeper analysis on this unit. I went out and purchased 7 Eli Tech data log sensors, and we put all the 7 in the refrigerator cabinet and the freezer cabinet, and then we ran it over the course of a 3-day weekend. When we actually did a hardcore data test on this, we found that the temperature gradient wasn't as bad as what we were led to believe. After taking all the points of data, and I think we had roughly about 20 to 25,000 points of data, the data loggers checked every 1 to 2 minutes, depending on which data system it was. We found out that the refrigerator portion only had a ±1 degree variance between the chef's pantry, which was a little bit colder, and the top row of shelving, which was a little bit higher. And we had it set to a factory setting of 36 degrees. Now in the freezer, it held only about ±0.2 degrees or 0.25, but when we had it set at 0 degrees, the temperature logger showed us that it was running about -3 degrees. One of the unique characteristics that make me really like this fridge, you get a 2-year all parts, all labor warranty on it through Lowe's, although I think that may carry over to the other retailers. You essentially are getting a free extended warranty on a really cheap refrigerator, but even better than that, the sealed system has a 5-year warranty. Yeah, it has a 5-year warranty on it, like what you would see from Samsung or more of the higher end refrigerators, about $2,000, which is awesome. One of the stories that I know of when I went to a factory technician course for HiSense was that they were really straightforward about sharing their failure rates on this refrigerator and some of the other ones that they have. Although I wouldn't want anyone to quote me verbatim, they said that this refrigerator had between a 2 to 3% mechanical failure rate under warranty. Compared to other brands on the market and information that's out there from companies like, say, Yale Appliance, that puts us in the very low failure category of refrigerators. I know of only a few other specific units that are in that 2% category compared to, say, an LG inverter motor, which has like a 20% fail rate every year. Now, even though I've said the warranty is really good, there is one major downside to this refrigerator when you look at the reviews online. The number one complaint on this is about the warranty, and it's not that they don't honor the 2-year warranty, it's that they can't find a lot of technicians to fix this thing, which is really, really terrible because of how easy it is to fix. Since HiSense is a newer brand in the United States, technicians and companies are unfamiliar with these models, which can cause issues if you happen to run into problems when you needed to get something fixed or replaced under warranty. And since I mentioned that Lowe's sells these, or whoever you would consider getting this from, make sure that you use the links to make sure I get credited for the sale, but ask your local Lowe's if they have technicians in the area that can actually fix this thing. A lot of areas will have technicians, but there are a few areas that may not, and that would make factory servicing or warranty servicing a little bit more problematic. The refrigerators are insanely easy to diagnose and fix, and if you're a repair guy looking for information on this, they're insanely easy to work on, and you would want to call HiSense to get parts and labor and warranty support for them. Another thing to consider on any fridge, whether it's a HiSense or not, is parts availability. When I studied this refrigerator's components at a major parts retailer, which was Encompass, I found that almost every single part was available and in stock that if it needed to be replaced. Even better, the parts are really cheap to purchase on this refrigerator to get them replaced. These are the top parts you're going to find from a typical model that are what would fail. It's not necessarily what's going on with this refrigerator, but just any refrigerator in general. These are the prices you'll see for a HiSense refrigerator, this exact one here, and then these are the prices that you're going to see for the other brands and competitors, and you can see that fixing this thing is way cheaper outside of maybe the sealed system, which is going to be somewhat difficult to do affordably. With all of these facts considered in this review and the teardown of the fact that I've taken everything apart on this refrigerator, would I recommend it to you, the consumer? I absolutely would recommend purchasing this. Although there are many other appliances in my store just off screen that I could have reviewed now that we have this nice studio, this is the very first one that I wanted to do because it's so simplistic. I just wanted to tear it apart and see what it was like on the inside. I had never touched one of these outside of some factory classes, and this is the most simplistic unit you're going to deal with. It's probably easier to work on than even a top mount Frigidaire, which I really like. Since there are so few parts that are in this refrigerator natively, it means that diagnosing and replacing the parts is going to be super, super easy if you are a homeowner or a new tech. I've talked to many appliance techs that have started looking into these machines for factory warranties, and they love dealing with them because there's just nothing that can go wrong that is more than a 15 or 20 minute fix, which is really good for a technician because they want to get things taken care of very quickly. Having said that, again, though, there are the drawbacks about the temperature gradient, although the data loggers kind of helped us resolve those issues. And then again, if you're a homeowner, the risk of the warranty, I'm not concerned about it, but then I'm a technician, so it doesn't matter. I'm totally fine with spending $50 to get anything fixed on this refrigerator. And I think the offset is the price tag so low on this that for $500 less than your competitors, it may help you invest in some things if anything does in fact go wrong on this. Now, let's say you don't like the review on this video and you're wanting something else that had a better warranty, was larger, or just something different in the bottom freezer category. And some models that I would think of suggesting as alternatives would be the Amana ABB 1924 or the ABB 2224. They're between $1,200 and $1,300. They're going to have better warranty support, and they definitely have, at least as per Consumer Reports, a better temperature gradient in them. And you only get that 1 year warranty instead of 2, but they're a model that has been around for a very long time, so the parts are very common and easy to find and replace. Now, another choice that you could look at on your refrigerator would be an LG LRDC 2603S. We've mentioned that earlier in the video when it came to the power usage. Consumers actually rate that one the highest bottom freezer refrigerator on the market, but it does have that linear compressor that everybody hates. However, it's a lower output linear compressor. I don't think it had the same issues and fate as the French door models did that were a higher capacity that had the horrible failure rates. In the end, I would trust this type of HiSense refrigerator in my house, and I sure as heck would trust myself, and I would trust you to fix it too. In fact, I can't wait to get this video out there and done so we can strip this refrigerator apart to do testing and diagnosis on this because of how insanely easy it is. Encompass has most, or if not all, the parts for this, as well as iFixit, which is like a supplier from Encompass as well. I really like this fridge. In fact, I have to get this review done soon because I showed a customer this refrigerator in our store and I said too many nice things about it, and now we got to get it ready for delivery. Again, check the description for all the refrigerators that we discussed in this video. I like it, but if you have a different opinion, tell me what you think about it because I hope you have a great day. Bye.